it's Belle. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be my June anticipated releases, finally. So, we'll get started. On June 1st in the UK is The Case of the Lighthouse Intruder by Kereen. Getten. Mason has always wanted to be a detective. When her cousins recruit her to their top secret gang on the island one summer, her dreams seem to be coming true. But the greatest gang of all time don't live up to their name and keep getting distracted from missions by things like food, falling asleep, and a fair bit of squabbling. Guided by their favorite mystery novels, Mason takes charge and tries to track down clues about the strange shadow that has been appearing in the island's lighthouse. With tension stirring within the gang, can she use all her smarts to solve the case? I love a good mystery detective style, so that sounds amazing. Not gonna say much. As usual, there's quite a bit. Also on June 1st in the UK, Until the Road Ends by Earle. When Peggy saves a stray dog from near death, a beautiful friendship begins. Peggy and Beau are inseparable. The only thing that can ever come between them is war. Peggy is evacuated to the safety of the coast, but Beau is left behind in the city, where he becomes the most extraordinary and unlikely of war heroes. Night after night, as bombs rain down and communities are destroyed, Beau searches the streets, saving countless families. But then disaster strikes, changing past Peggy's life forever. With her parents killed, both she and Beau are left alone, hundreds of miles apart, but Beau has a plan to reunite them at long last. The Dog's Day's okay. I think that sounds incredible. Also on June 1st in the UK, Deadlocked by Simon Fox. Archie Blake thought his policeman father teaching him how to pick locks and open safes was just a bit of fun. But when a diamond necklace is stolen and his dad is arrested, Archie realizes the only way to prove Dad's innocence is to go on the run and use everything he's learned to uncover the truth. But Archie soon finds himself deeply tangled in the criminal underworld, where it's hard to know who to trust and even harder to see what's right or wrong. Will Archie be able to find a way out before it's too late? Also on June 1st in the UK, Vivi, Conway, and the Sword of Legend by Lizzie, Huxley-Jones. The lake has been calling to 12-year-old Vivi Conway. On the day she and her mams will move from Wales to London, she sneaks out to investigate what is calling her there. Instead of a quiet swim, she finds Excalibur, much smaller than she expected, a ferocious monster, much scarier in real life than in her mythology books, a new friend, which she doesn't want at all, called Dara, and a ghostly dog named Galert, who can talk. Love it. Galert insists that Vivi is part of a magical group of children known as Innaids, who share the souls of witches from legend and must protect the world from being taken over by the evil king Aron of the Otherworld. Oh, and now she can magically control water. With a little extra help from Spiky Avery and sweethearted Chia, Vivi must come with terms with her magical destiny and be brave enough to embrace true friendship. Sounds amazing. So on June 1st in the UK, Welcome to Deadtown, Raven McKay by Eibhlis, Carcione. When her parents disappeared, 12-year-old Raven McKay is put into foster care with Kitty Stromso in the town of Graves Pass. It's not an ordinary town. It's a town where the living and the dead live side by side, but few wear their identity on their sleeves. All her parents have left Raven is a battered beige suitcase with a faded black butterfly sticker and a note saying not to open the suitcase until the right time. But can she resist? And who among the living and the dead are her friends? So excited for that. And on June 6th in the US, I'm just gonna read the ones that are my most highly anticipated, because these are ones that I've already bought and showed in a recent book haul. I read a synopsis in that book haul, so I'm not gonna read the synopsis again. June 6th in the US, Leah and the Fire Goddess by Malia, Maunakea. North of Supernova by Lindsey, Leavitt. Half Moon Summer by Elaine, Vickers. US Spellbinders by Andrew Ossian. US Greenwild by Perry Thompson. Camp Sylvania by Julie Murphy. The Ruby Code by Jessica Curry. And Starboard by Nicola Skinner. So those are all the ones that came out June 6th in the US and that were in a recent book haul, and I read the synopsis. I've already got them. I'm very excited about them. And then on June 8th in the UK, The Wall Between Us by Dan Smith. Anja and Monica live opposite each other. They play together every day with Otto the cat. One night they wake up to bangs and shouts. Soldiers are building a huge barbed wire fence between them. A terrible forever wall that gets longer and higher until it divides the whole city. On the east side, Monica is scared. Neighbors are becoming spies and there are secret police everywhere. It's Anja who spots that Otto has found a way across. If he can visit Monica, then perhaps she can too. But Anja gets trapped and there's no safe way back. So on June 8th in the UK, My Family and Other Romans by Marie Bastien. I'm Silvia Fortuna Juno de Luca, half schoolgirl, half goddess. Yes, actual Roman goddess. But it all starts with Dad. He was messing about, reenacting battles at Hadrian's Wall, when, pow, he's transported to ancient Rome. I go after him because someone has to, and now the fate of my whole family rests on me. Also on June 8th in the UK, The Magic Hour by David Wollstonecraft. 11-year-old Ailsa Craig is always late. to everything. Her own birth, school, and even her own house exploding. Although it's certainly better to be late for that than early. But then one day, Elsa discovers the secret of a lifetime, an extra hour in the day. The magic hour which exists in a fantastical parallel Edinburgh, accessed at twilight. As she explores this extraordinary place where anything seems possible, Elsa can't believe her luck. Her grades improve and life seems to be on the up. Even the popular kids start liking her. But messing with time can have desperate consequences. When Elsa discovers that the extra time comes at a terrible cost, she must battle the sinister forces at work and save herself, her parents, and the world. Also on June 8th in the UK, Bridget Vanderpuff and the Baked Escape by Martin Stewart. Bridget Baxter is the very last orphan at the orphanage for errant childs, left at the mercy of the awful Miss Ackred and her foul-smelling fish sandwiches. Miss Ackred's mission is to make Bridget's life a misery, but Bridget is more than a match for her. When kindly Mr. Vanderpuff arrives at the orphanage in search of a child to care for, Bridget thinks her luck has finally turned. Mr. Vanderpuff is the village baker and his shop is a world of wonders, but they soon discover that Bridget is absolutely terrible at baking. When Miss Ackred returns for the ultimate revenge, Bridget must open the locked and secret door, navigate Miss Ackred's spiderweb of booby traps, and use her unique baking skills to save herself and Mr. Vanderpuff from certain disaster. Everything about that sounds. Also on June 8th in the UK, Fable House by E.L. Norrie. Fable House, a mysterious mansion surrounded by ancient woodland, is Heather's new home. Roaming the countryside with some of her other mixed-race kids who were in care there, she finds a stone tower that feels strangely magical. There they meet Palamedes, the Black Knight from King Arthur's court. He warns them that danger lurks in a world beneath their feet. Heather, Pal, and friends set off to rescue children who have been taken to this threatening underworld. No child will be forgotten on their watch. Heather and friends realize they have been specially chosen for this quest. They must use the talents they've been given in the battle to save Fable House and all the children who have found shelter there. Also on June 8th in the UK, Call of the Titanic by Lindsey Alvin. Young cabin steward Sid is proud to be working on the Titanic, the greatest steam liner ever built. Clara dreams of adventure at sea and discovers it the hard way as a stowaway on the much smaller ship, the Carpathia. Here she meets a giant bear of a dog, Rigel, who has a reputation for mischief. What none of them can foresee is how they'll need each other on the night Titanic collides with an iceberg, or that even more extraordinary creature might also answer their call. Anything Titanic, I'm there. June 8th in the UK, Bite Risk by S.J. Wills. I think this comes out in hardback in the US in August. Sal Archer lives in a normal town with normal residents except for one night a month. When the full moon comes out, almost all the adults turn into werewolves, and it's up to the young people to protect themselves from danger. But as this quiet life begins to unravel, and the turns start to escape, can Sal and his friends uncover exactly who or what is watching their every move before it's too late? Also on June 8th in the UK, Interdimensional Explorers by Lorraine Gregory. Nothing exciting ever happens to 12-year-old Danny's estate. That is until he falls through a locker in his granddad's workshop and finds himself in an interdimensional lost property office. And even weirder, his new boss is a giant purple squid on a Segway. Now Danny, best mate Maud, and annoying cousin Anaya find themselves in charge of returning alien items to all corners of the universe. But someone or something is determined to stop them, and there's nothing these evil aliens won't stop at to achieve complete multi-dimensional domination, even trapping Danny and his friends on a planet a million light years away from Earth. The fate of the entire multiverse was in your hands. What would you do? I first heard about this one. I think this is one of the ones that I'd never heard of before. I was very excited, unless I just don't remember hearing about it. But I heard about it on the Reader Teacher on YouTube. I'll link his channel below. I finally got to watch a YouTube video. It was raining, so I picked that. It was, I think, his June anticipated releases, and I had never heard of this one, so I'm very excited. And then on June 10th in the US, The Secret of the Seven Rubies by Jairus Ham. And it's past the 10th now, and last time I checked, it's still Kindle only, so I don't know if it's going to remain Kindle only, but I don't know. So hopefully it does come out with sometimes with these, it takes a few days and then it'll show up, so hopefully, because I don't read ebooks. But I did want to mention it because I do want it. 7 rubies and secret messages, swarming invaders in a whirling void. One boy battles the darkness and journeys to a kingdom of light. Time stands still when Matt Silvers and his friends, Ryan and Julie, journey to a realm of wonders. A kingdom where a wise guardian reveals Matt's superhero identity and challenges them to find 7 rubies with secret messages, wisdom they'll need to battle the swarming Craven and resist the evil dark void. When Matt returns to his everyday world, will time give him a second chance? Another chance to win the trophy for his basketball team and rescue his mesmerized friends? And one last chance to save his grandfather from a dangerous trap. So on June 13th in the US, The Gray by Chris Barron. It's been a tough year for Sasha. He's been bullied at his middle school, and his anxiety, which he calls the Gray, is growing. Sasha's dad tells him to toughen up, and he does, but with unfortunate, hurtful results. His parents and therapists agree that a summer in the country with his aunt might be the best medicine, but it's the last place he wants to be. He'll be away from his best friend, video games, and stuck in the house that reminds him of his beloved uncle who died 2 years earlier. His aunt is supportive, and there's a lot of places to explore and even some potential new friends. When Sasha is introduced at a local ranch to a horse, coincidentally, incredibly, nicknamed the Grey, he feels he's found a kindred spirit. But his own Grey is ever present. When one of his new friends disappears, Sasha discovers the country is wider and more mysterious than he imagined. He tries to muster enough courage to help in the search, but will the Grey hold him back? It's going to have a lot of great messages in there and relatable issues, I think. A little summer story. And I always love, it seems like kids in books I really love go to visit some aunt. It's always an aunt, and I love it, so I'm excited. Also on June 13th in the U.S., The Braid Girls by Sherry Winston. Maggie's world is turned upside down when she learns that her father, whom she admires, has a second daughter, Callie, whom no one knew existed. But she won't let a new family member get in the way of her summer plans with best friend, Daja. They're determined to make tons of money braiding hair for kids around in the neighborhood. Daja's always felt like she had a sister in Maggie, so she can't let her new half-sister Callie take her place, and she can't let her interfere with their new Braid Girls business either. She needs the money to pay for extra ballet lessons so she can go en pointe and earn a spot in the fall dance showcase, making her distant father proud at last. If she pulls this off, he'll have to pay attention to her. Callie is still grieving her late mom. Now she's leaving her old home in the Bahamas behind, including her old school and friends, to move in with the father she's never met, plus his family. When she hears of Maggie's and Daja's business, she sees a chance to prove her skills in a way to be accepted. With 3 very different girls on board, the Braid Girls arrive to a summer camp full of kids with locks begging to be braided. Business is booming until a rival, Angela, shows up with her friends and starts a new braiding business. The Sisters who braid, it's spelled Sistahs. With competition heating up, the Braid Girls are sure to have an unforgettable summer. That sounds so good. Another summer story and a camp story. And 3 different stories. All these girls who are connected to each other, but each have such a very different point of view. Also on June 13th in the U.S., The Hunt for the Hollower by Calais C. Miller. The great wizard Merlin prophesies that his 7th descendant would do wonderful and miraculous things, baffling everyone when his great many times great-grandchild turns out to be twins. Soon enough, however, it becomes clear which sibling is the septimum genus. Percy is a natural with magic. Merlinda, to put it simply, is not. But Merlinda doesn't mind. Percy's always been by her side to cheer her up and clean up after her magical bungles, until the twins attempt a forbidden spell to help her control her magic, and Percy vanishes through a portal and straight into the clutches of the magic-stealing mythical Hollower. Aided by her best friend, who longs to be a knight, a wandering musician who is fleeing from his past, and her brand-new, fierce familiar who yearns for a taste of funnel cake, Merlinda sets off on a quest to rescue her brother. But to defeat this ancient evil, she must discover and embrace her true powers, or else lose her brother for good. It just sounds incredible. Also on June 13th in the U.S., When Giants Burn by Beth Vrabel. Gertie has a secret. She's building an airplane. She wants to join the Civil Air Patrol, where pilots as young as 12 help with disaster relief, but she knows her parents would be outraged. They're survivalists who raised her to be independent and only enrolled her in middle school to show her why they decided to opt out of society. Still, Gertie is determined to protect her beloved Pando, a nearby ancient aspen forest. Hayes has some problems of his own, but they aren't the kind that can be hidden under a tarp. His mom is back from prison, but he's not sure he'll ever stop missing the mom she used to be. One thing is certain, he's never going to be like her. He follows the rules, but Gertie is the only person in school Hayes doesn't hate, so after she tells him about her hidden plane, he helps her finish it. When wildfires break out nearby, Gertie wants to fly to Pando and make sure it's safe, and Hayes is tempted by the chance to escape everything on the ground. But the duo will soon realize that they can't escape their roots, and that holding on to those connections might be the real key to survival. So on June 13th in the U.S., Maybe There Are Witches by Jude Atwood. I literally feel like I've been waiting for this forever. I first saw it maybe a year ago, and I'm so happy it's finally out. After moving to the tiny village of Biskopskola, middle school student Clara Hutchins discovers that her family has a history in the region. 140 years ago, one of her ancestors was hanged as a witch from the white oak tree on the edge of town. When Clara finds a mildewed diary in the basement, she's even able to read the rambling thoughts of her long-dead relative. But when the book's predictions about Clara's own life start coming true, she wonders if those 19th century villagers had a point. Maybe her great-great-great-grandmother really did have unearthly abilities. Now, a break-in at the tomb of the town's founder means a great evil has returned to Biskopskola. Clara and her newest friends, 2 of the weirdest boys in school, must join forces to decipher the messages of a murdered witch and stop an unnatural catastrophe. But as they quest through historic cemeteries, backcountry libraries, and high-octane scholastic bowl tournaments, something sinister is lurking, watching, and waiting. So on June 13th in the U.S., Vivi and Lance's Second Chance by Catherine Ormsby. And it says Groundhog Day meets 8th grade in this time loop story, set on the first day of school. I'll make Groundhog Day. Vivian Lance is cursed. Every year, terrible things happen on her first day of school. This year, Vivian has a plan to conquer 8th grade, but 8th grade turns out to start with her worst first day yet. Vivian can't wait to put it all behind her, but instead of waking up to a brand new day, Vivian somehow gets stuck reliving her catastrophic one. Curse, 9,000. Vivian, 0. Then she sees her misfortune for what it is, the golden opportunity to get her perfect plan back on track. But when her second chance turns into a third and a fourth and a fifth, Vivian might have to let go of the perfect day of her dreams and make a few surprising choices along the way. Then on June 15th in the UK, The Magician's Daughter by Carol Lewis. After one hilarious, disastrous magic show too many, Abby's dad decides it's time to give up showbiz. Until the day Abby finds a mysterious dusty old book of spells among her mom's things. Mom has always been the dazzling magician, after all. As Abby practices, each new spell brings wonder and joy, not only to Abby and her dad, but also to the whole community. Nothing lasts forever, though, and after each public performance, another spell vanishes from the book. So before the magic disappears forever, Abby and Dad plan one final spectacular, impossible show. And then on June 20th in the U.S., the second book in a series in a graphic novel. It's the second in the Cat's Cradle series by Jo Riux. She's also the illustrator. And this is The Mole King's Lair. And I really love that first book, and she's one of my favorite illustrators. Just cannot wait for that one. Also on June 20th in the U.S., The Islands of Elsewhere by Heather Fawcett. Not many kids have an island in their backyard, but suddenly the Snowley sisters have 3. They're staying at Granddaddy's seaside property for the summer, which includes the mysterious Fairy Islands. Fairy, Little Fairy, and Ghost. The people in Misty Cove call them the in-between places and say they're full of magic, a magic that gets inside you. But 10-year-old Bee Snowley doesn't believe in magic. She just wants to help her ill granddaddy. And if she and her sisters can unravel the mystery of the Fairy Islands in time, they may discover a long-buried secret that could help them all. I love what I've read of Heather Fawcett, another summer story, and that just sounds incredible. Also on June 20th in the U.S., A Season Most Unfair by J. Anderson Coates. Scholastica, or Tick, has grown up helping her father make candles in his shop. The experience has its ups and downs. While constantly smelling like tallow makes it hard for Tick to keep friends, stray cats love her. Still, she delights in the work and the fact that she can help Papa. Every summer, they use long daylight hours to make as many candles as possible to sell at the Stourbridge Fair, the highlight of the year. And this year, Tick is finally going to be allowed to make the special Agnus Dei charms that keep travelers safe. Because she's a girl, Tick can never be a true apprentice in the trade, but if she gets to do the job anyway, does it matter what she's called? But one morning she finds a boy sitting at her workbench. Papa has taken on an apprentice, and now Tick is forbidden from helping with the candle making. Tick isn't about to stand for this unfairness. She's going to prove to Papa that she deserved to be his apprentice, even if it means sneaking away to the fair. Love the way everything about that sounds, and I've been looking forward to that one for a while too. So on June 20th in the U.S., The Magnificence by Amy McKinney. I'm not saying that right. Every day, Lord Tennyson, the miniature schnauzer, does his very best to care for the 6 McNiff children and keep them from destroying their pink New England farmhouse, and the rest of the town for that matter. But when summer vacation brings the kids home together all day, his chaos-containing skills are put to the ultimate test. Baby Sweetums is still refusing to walk, nap, or listen to anyone. Ezra is trying to keep a snake as a secret pet. Annie and Mary's fighting is worse than ever, and Pearl and Tate are scared of just about everything. And when a particularly tempting trio of baby chicks arrives at the house, even Lord Tennyson finds he can't stay on his best behavior. As the chaos begins to spiral out of hand, though, something truly awful happens. Mr. and Mrs. McNiff seem to be considering getting a real nanny to care for their big brood. Can Lord Tennyson get the McNiffs' hijinks under control and teach them to behave before the summer's out? Or will his most unusual nanny find himself out of a job and back in the doghouse? Another summer story, an incredible dog, and I think this is the author of a contemporary, more serious story that I read that I still think about, and it was one of my all-time favorite books, and it was in my top 14 or something one year. So I'm excited to read something else about her. Also on June 20th in the U.S., Jenny Off the Map by Carolyn Hickney. There are 2 things Jenny Pierce loves most in the world: geography facts and her father. But when her dad is deployed overseas and Jenny's family must move to yet another town, not even her facts can keep her afloat. The geography camp she's been anxiously awaiting gets canceled, and her new neighbors prefer her basketball star sister. Worst of all, her dad is in a war zone and impossible to get a hold of. Jenny decides that running on her own camp for the kids on her street will solve all her problems. But can she convince them and herself that there's more to her than just facts? Also on June 20th in the U.S., 102 Days of Lying About Lauren by Maura Jortner. Another one I feel like I've been waiting for forever. 12-year-old Mouse calls an amusement park home. Nobody notices her, and that's the way she likes it. Mouse sweeps the streets and wears her uniform she borrowed and sleeps on the top floor of the haunted house of horrors. She knows which security guards to avoid, eats the bagel left out each morning for the ghost of summer, a popular theme park legend, and even has the taco guy convinced that her lunch is paid for. She has her special hiding methods down to a science. But one morning, a girl named Cat comes looking for Lauren Suzik. Cat notices her, and Mouse doesn't like it. Mouse cannot let this nosy pest find out who she really is. If Mouse gets discovered living in the park, Mama might come back for her, and Mouse doesn't want that. Or even worse, Mama might not come back at all. Mouse knows she can lose this girl without blowing her cover. She just has to follow her rules. A carefully constructed life in the park is all she needs, right? Then on June 22nd in the UK, The Dragon on the Train by Ben Brooks. A little while after his grandma passes away, Elliot finds a strange ticket under his pillow. When a small, well-dressed dragon appears in his room and asks for the ticket, the adventure of Elliot's life is about to begin. A station has appeared at the back of Elliot's wardrobe, but where will the night train take him? And then on June 27th in the US, Whitebird by R.J. Palacio with Ericka S. Pearl. Thank you so much, Random House Kids. They sent me a copy of this, and this was in the book column, so I already read the synopsis. So I'm so excited. Also on June 27th in the US, Conjure Island by Eden Royce. Thank you so much, HarperCollins. They sent me a copy of this, and this was in the book club too, so I read the synopsis in that. So excited. It sounds so amazing. Also on June 27th in the US, How to Stay Invisible by Maggie C. Rudd. Being alone is something Raymond is used to. 12-year-old Raymond Hurley has never had a place to call home. His free-willing parents moved their family from town to town, and he's living in a trailer in a brand new state when one day they just up and abandoned him. All alone with nothing but a duffel bag full of clothes and his reliable pup Rosie, he is forced to live in the woods behind his middle school. With a fishing pole in hand and survival guide checked out from the library, Raymond scrapes by and doesn't tell anyone his secret. This isn't the first time he's had to rely on himself. However, when winter days get colder and finding food becomes nearly impossible, Raymond makes new friends, including a curious coyote, in unexpected places. Soon he learns that his fate will depend not just on his wilderness skills, but on the people and animals he chooses to trust. As long as the dog's okay. I hope I read it. So on June 27th in the US, Wishing Season by Annika Rossi. Of course, Anders wasn't lonely in the afterlife. He still, like always, had Lily. Lily doesn't believe in making wishes. Not anymore. Not since Anders died. Wishes can't fix the terrible thing that happened. Wishing won't change how it feels. But Lily does believe in the impossible. She has a secret so extraordinary, so magical, no one would believe that it's true. No one except Anders, of course. Nothing about this summer is turning out how Lily would have wished, but wishes, like seasons, can change. Also, on June 27th in the US, I think it's a graphic novel. There's going to be a series too called Cryptic Kids. The Bochness Monster by Sarah Goddard and Natalie Rice. Penny swears that when she was a little girl, a creature called the Bochness Monster, half sea serpent, half chicken, saved her from drowning. Now, years later, she's about to move away to a new city, and before she goes, she needs the help of her best friends, Luke and Kay, for a virtually important mission. Seeing Bessie one more time. But in their quest to find Bessie and give Penny the send-off she deserves, the kids stumble into a whole new problem. Cryptids are being kidnapped by an evil collector, and only Penny, Luke, and Kay can save them. Also on June 27th in the US, The Probability of Everything by Sarah Everett. 11-year-old Kimmy Carter loves scientific facts, specifically probability. It's how she understands the world and her place in it. Kimmy knows her odds of being born were 1 in 5.5 trillion, and that the odds of her having the best family ever were even lower. Yet somehow, Kimmy lucked out. But everything Kimmy thought she knew changes when she sees an asteroid hover in the sky, casting a purple haze over her world. Eibhlis 68 has an 84.7 chance of colliding with Earth in 4 days, and with that collision, Kimmy's life as she knows it will end. But over the course of the 4 days, even facts don't feel true to Kimmy anymore. The new town she moved to that was supposed to be better for her family isn't very welcoming. And Eibhlis 68 is taking over her life, but others are still going to school and eating at their favorite diner like nothing has changed. Is Kimmy the only one who feels like the world is ending? With the days numbered, Kimmy decides to put together a time capsule that will capture her family's truth. How creative her mother is, how inquisitive her little sister can be, and how much Kimmy's whole world revolves around her father. But no time capsule can change the truth behind all of it, that Kimmy must face the most inevitable and hardest part of life, saying goodbye. So on June 27th in the US, The Jules Verne Prophecy by Larry Schwartz and Eva Marie Palmer. Owen Godfrey is, and it says it's a modern day reimagining of the Goonies. Goonies is one of my favorite movies, so yes, please. Owen Godfrey is spending his summer, another summer, in Paris studying science fiction writer Jules Verne, the brilliant mind behind 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Around the World in 80 Days. When Owen and his new friends find what appears to be a dusty copy of Verne's collected works in an old bookshop, they're intrigued by the hidden codes written inside. As one clue leads to another, the trio gets swept up in an epic treasure hunt spanning the city, from the depths of the catacombs to the top of the Aqua Tower, and by way of skateboard, boat, car, and even a hot air balloon. But they quickly realize that they're not the only ones searching for the hidden riches, and there are others who will stop at nothing to get to them first. This fast-paced, larger-than-life adventure is filled with action, high stakes, and three friends who are dead set on cracking the Jules Verne mystery. That sounds so incredible. So on June 27th in the U.S., The Umbrella Maker's Son by Kereen. Oscar Buckle lives in a city where it's always raining, and when it isn't raining, it's about to rain, so the townspeople have learned to embrace it. Oscar's father is an umbrella maker, appropriate for a place where you can't leave home without one, but while Buckle umbrellas are strong, reliable, and high quality, they're expensive. Because of this, people are buying from the competitor instead, which is threatening Oscar's family business. To make ends meet, Oscar is forced to quit school and work in his father's shop as an apprentice. But when extraordinary events start to occur in their rainy town, Oscar becomes suspicious of their competitor. Desperate to save his town, Oscar must enlist the help of his best friend Sage to discover if there's more than nature involved in their city's weather. So on June 27th in the U.S., the graphic novel Ember and the Island of Lost Creatures by Jason Piment. Painting can be hard, especially when you're as small as Ember, a tiny boy living alone in a city of giants. But Ember's luck changes when he meets Leah, a kindly sea turtle who escorts him across the ocean to a school for little creatures on a wondrous island. Here Ember learns that first days can be hard too, especially when they involve bizarre, fantastical cave dwellers, ferocious storms, and classmates that, from the very start, aren't at all interested in making friends. As he struggles to adapt to this new world, Ember finds himself at the heart of an otherworldly mystery, facing a strange monster from the deep that threatens everything he holds dear. On the surface, Ember's classmates may seem of little help, but any good student of nature knows appearances can be deceiving, and friendship can come from the most unexpected of places. Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Tale of the Grave Mother by Ren Chupeco. And it's a first novel in an all-new middle-grade horror series inspired by Nickelodeon's hit TV classic Are You Afraid of the Dark? I watched that a lot growing up. Everyone in Southridge knows about the legend of the Grave Mother. They know how to leave offerings by the abandoned house she was supposedly murdered in to pacify her. They know better than to trespass on her property. But not everyone believes in the tale, especially not 14-year-old Rhett, who lives around the corner from the old mansion. Then it's announced that the Grave Mother's place is one of several to be demolished to give way for new townhouses. When disaster strikes the construction site and strange sightings of a woman in white begin haunting the neighbors, Rhett must figure out how to put the ghost permanently to rest before it's too late. So excited. And then lastly, on June 29th in the UK, City of Stolen Magic by Nazim Ahmed Patha. India, 1855. The British rule, and all across the country, Indian magic is being stamped out. More terrifying still, people born by magic are being snatched from their homes. Rumor is that they are being taken across the sea to England by the all-powerful Sinister Company. When Champa's home is attacked and her mother viciously kidnapped, Champa, born with powerful and dangerous magic that she has always been forbidden from using, must travel to the smoky, bustling streets of East London in search of her. But Champa will discover far more treachery in London than she had bargained for, and will learn that every act of rare magic comes with a price. Alright, y'all, that's it for this video. Did you see any that you're excited about, that you want to read? Let me know in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you would like to subscribe, I would love that, if you'd like to. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.